May peace and blessings be upon you all. Hi guys, this is Shahadat, and today I'm going to kind of talk about some of my thoughts about what Sadhguru says and why I kind of like lost my respect for him to some extent. You see, you must have heard in a number of videos where Sadhguru keeps on saying that when he talks about intellect, he says, what do you want your intellect to be? Everybody obviously replies, you want your intellect to be sharp. And so then, sharpness is a property of something that is a dissecting instrument that cuts. But is that really true? That is where I really feel frustrated. Now, the concept of this sharp applies to different things in different ways, right? And it is because of the limitation of the language, the same word is used for different meaning. So when you say that a knife is sharp or a blade is sharp, what you mean is, yes, you can use it to cut something, to dissect something, and it will do a good job. But when we talk about intellect, intellect is not really a physical thing. You cannot, like a knife has got a handle to hold on to. Intellect doesn't really have a handle to hold on to. So applying the word, because we just say a top quality intellect, we just use the word sharp to mean a very good quality intellect. What Saghguru does is he then compares this to a knife and your intellect to be the same thing. It's like a cutting instrument. But if he can compare these two only because people use the word sharp to express one attribute of this thing, so a knife is a sharp thing and your intellect is a sharp thing. So immediately, if that can make these two things of the same type, like cutting instrument, I can use the same analogy, same rule, and because intellect doesn't look anything like a knife, because now I'm giving the second reason, it's not one, it's two now, because I cannot hold on to intellect like I can hold on to a knife, and because I cannot measure intellect in a scale, whereas I can measure a knife on a scale. I've given you three reasons why intellect and a knife is not the same thing. So following the same logics, Sadhguru used one property, the sharpness, and he attributed the sharpness to intellect and to knife. And then he claimed that that basically signifies, because the knife is sharp and it is a cutting instrument, that means intellect, if we call it sharp, it will also be a cutting instrument. So based on that same logic, now I have chosen a separate set of properties, handle, weight, and these properties, and based on these properties I can show you, I hope you agree with me as well, that these two things are not the same things at all. So comparing these two things will lead you to a stupid conclusion, really. So let me give you another example. So what do you call something that flies? You will call it a bird, right? Or whatever your answer is. I mean, you can say it's an insect, it's a bird. So based on that, can we then say that everything else that flies is this thing? Now, say say, for example, you ask me this question, what do you call something that flies? I said, okay, I call it a bird. Right, so a bird flies. Okay, and an airplane flies as well, so an airplane is a bird. I mean, I wouldn't blame you if you look at me and think, what a dumb idiot standing in front of me. I mean, I wouldn't disagree with that judgment if you do judge in that way. Why is that? Because I have compared two things that are actually not similar, even though they have one property common between them. That doesn't make these two things the same thing. So, in Sadhguru's lectures, Sadhguru is going through that route and then giving his verdict that so anything that comes from the intellect, anything that you find through your intellect is a dissection, is a process of cutting. And because you are trying to sew cloth with a knife, you are ending up with tatters. Now, that is another thing I get really frustrated about. How can anybody accept that argument and sit there quietly? I mean, a normal person who has a little bit of brain will start screaming that, don't, what are you talking about? The first thing is, when we are talking about, human beings, we are very sophisticated. We have abilities, amazing abilities. Now, one of the abilities is the ability of choosing the right thing for the right job. And so in this particular example, if we look into it, see, if we are talking about sewing something, just assume for now that whatever the problem we are looking into, that problem needs some kind of reconciliation, some kind of bringing things together. So we compare it with the sewing concept of a piece of cloth. So you're trying to sew it. You will have to be absolutely an idiot to pick up a knife to try to sew it. Rather, what you will do is you will pick up a needle, because needle is the right tool for this job. Now, do you want your needle to be blunt or sharp? You want the needle to be sharp as well. And using that sharp needle, you can sew things, sew the piece of cloth. So now, if we go back to our initial example, that intellect, because it's sharp, it's a cutting instrument, it cannot, whatever it touches, it's going to cut. But now, if we look at the correct analogy, the correct tool, a needle, we see that needle is also sharp, but it doesn't mess up your cloth. It helps you to sew the cloth. Why? Because now you understand what it means to be sharp. The sharpness of a knife is the sharpness of its edge, so that it can cut. The sharpness of the needle is the pointiness of its end, the pointed end. How pointed that is, the more pointed it is, the better it is going to be as a needle. So now you understand that sharp in knife's case and in needle's case and in intellect's case means different things. So they are not the same. And so if there is a guru who is trying to give you some lesson, some knowledge, and he is claiming intellect and knife, because both of them can be, we use as human beings, we use the word sharp to basically express the quality of the instrument. So immediately they have got to be the same things. It just doesn't logically make any sense at all, right? Let me know if you agree with this, or if you do not agree, please give me your reasons. I was making review videos of Saghguru, and what I realized is in his 5 minutes speech, he says so many illogical things, according to my understanding, that I end up talking of over half an hour and still cannot explain all the problems, all the flaws he has in his argumentation, and I feel really frustrated. And you guys feel I'm making like really long videos and annoying you. So now I've changed my approach a little bit. Instead of really reviewing his videos, we can just, because he uses a certain set of examples, he just picks up whatever the context and pick up the example. If we can look into those examples and basically dismantle them, and if I can show you where my problem is with these arguments, then hopefully we will be, you and me, we will be able to be in a kind of like a common platform and learn from each other. So that's my hope. So feel free to comment and let me know if you agree or disagree. If you do disagree, please tell me why. Explain, give me your reasons, because I want to learn. Take care, guys. Bye.